Welcome to my channel Easy Learning. In today's session, we will study the chapter Introduction to Graphs. So, this is your chapter 15 from NCERT book. Let's first understand what are graphs. So, graphs are basically the visual representation of any data. It can be the marks of the students in the class, it can be the temperature, it can be the types of flats in a society, any data. Marks obtained by the students in the class. So that when we represent that data in any visual representation form, which is also called as the graphical representation of data, then we obtain graphs. Now there are various type of graphs in which we can represent the data. What are those graphs? The graphs are, it can be represented as bar graph, it can be represented as double bar graph, then we have histogram, then pie chart, then line graphs, linear graphs, right? And then pie charts are also called as your circle graph. So these are different type of graphs in which we can represent the data. We will study all types of graphs one by one. Let's see next. Let's first study the bar graphs. Bar graph, if you see, this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. So this is your x-axis is your horizontal line, right? And y-axis is your vertical line. And the point where these two mutually perpendicular lines are meeting, this point, this O point is called as origin. This point is called as origin, right? And these two mutually perpendicular lines, x and y, these are called as axes. So let's first understand what are bar graphs. When we represent the given data in the form of bars, then it is bar graph. So here if you see, we have marks obtained by a student in various subjects: Hindi 85, Maths 92, Science 90, English 100 and SST 95. We want to represent this in the form of bar graph. So what we have taken the subjects on x-axis and marks on y-axis. Now one important thing is here, which is kink. If you see, I have made here a zigzag line. This is called a kink. What is a kink now? We use the kink when we are skipping certain values from the origin. If you see, as we know, whenever we take any scale, the gap between should be same. Here you see a gap of 5. Here is also a gap of 5, a gap of 5, but where you have 85. So it means from the origin to the first value, we have suppressed some unwanted values. So to suppress those unwanted values, we plot a kink. We represent it with a zigzag line. This is called as a kink. Okay. So Hindi 85. When I am saying the marks in Hindi is 85, so it means I can plot a bar like this. And then in maths 92. So 92 will be somewhere here. So this is 92 in maths, and then you see science has 90. So you will go till 90, right? And then English has 100 marks. So 100 is your here. So we will mark another bar, 100 is here, and SST is 95 and 95 is here. So let's mark SST as 95. So there are certain rules. Since these are the data has been represented in the form of bars, so this is called bar graph. Now there are certain observations about the bar graph. As I have already told you, the horizontal line, this is your horizontal line, this is called x-axis, and the vertical line is called as y-axis. Meeting point is the origin point. Data is represented in the form of bars. You see, these all are the bars. So data is always represented in the form of the bars. That is how it is called as a bar graph. Bar will have even gap in between them. It means the gap between the two consecutive bars will always be same, which means the scale has to be taken appropriately, right? And it is very much important to write the scale with any graph. So if you see what I have taken, 1 unit box is representing how many marks? 5 marks. So I have written 1 unit box is representing 5 marks. So this is how for any graph we will always write scale. Now there is one more thing about the bar graphs, that it can be represented. Now here the bars are your vertical bars, right? It can be your horizontal bar also, right? If I take subject on the y-axis and marks on x-axis, then how you will going to get it? you will get the bars as this, right? So that is also correct. So bar graph can be represented vertically as well as horizontally. So this is your bar graph. Next we have double bar graph. So in the previous graph, if you see what we have taken, these were the marks of term 1 student of Hindi, Math, Science, English and SST. Now in double bar graph, what we have got for the same child, these are the same marks. Now we have the marks of the term 2 as well. Now we have to represent the data in this double bar graph. Again the same thing, this is your origin, horizontal line x-axis, y-axis. Meeting point is called as origin O. Now here again there is a kink you see, because we have suppressed all the values from 0 to 85 and otherwise there is a gap of 5 between the scale. Now Hindi term 1 is 85 and then term 2 is 95. So what I am going to do, Hindi term 1 is 85, right? So suppose I have taken Hindi as 85. Let's plot for term 1, then maths is 92. So 92 will be somewhere here, right? And then you have science as 90. So science 90. Then English as 100. So let's go on 100. And then SST has 95. So these all are rough figures. When you do it on a proper graph paper, the thickness of the width of the bar should be even. There are so many rules. The gap between the bars should be even. Now I am changing the color to represent for the term 2. Hindi it is 95. So it means with the same bar it is going to be 95 when I am doing for Hindi. So I have changed the color when I am doing for Hindi, but it is representing double bar. So this one is for term 1, right? And this one is for term 2. Similarly, if you see maths in term 2, it is 100. So it means I have to extend another bar here, which is for term 2 maths. Science, it is 95. So we will again, it means the result is, it is not necessary that every time it is going to show the improvement. It can be a lesser marks also. English again it is showing 95. So it means it has to be that way. Now here you see the marks has been decreased. In SST it is 99. So we will go less than 100 somewhere here. So now you have represented the data of term 1 as well as of term 2. So this is representing term 1, this is term 2, term 1, term 2, term 1, term 2, term 1, term 2 and term 1 and term 2. This is called double bar graph because on the same scale we are representing the term 1 marks and term 2 marks, and you see we are getting 2 bars. So that is how it is called a double bar graph. So that's the only difference. So we can always differentiate, maybe we can shed one bar and another one we can leave as it is, or we can use different colors to differentiate 2 bars. Again, scale is mandatory to write. Again here I have taken y-axis scale, 1 unit box is represented 5 marks, 85 to 90, 90 to 95. It is representing 5 marks, and we have used a kink here because we have suppressed all the values from origin to 85. Let's see the next type. Next we have pie chart. So what is a pie chart? A pie chart is used to compare parts of a whole, right? So if you see, I have type of apartments is simplex, duplex and triplex in a society, and their percentage is given as I have 50% simplex apartment, 25% duplex and 25% triplex, and I have to represent it on a pie chart. So pie chart, we know it's a complete circle chart which is of 360 degrees. So now here we are representing in the form of percentage, but when we are supposed to plot the graph, we need to calculate the central angle. So with the given percentage, we can calculate the central angle and we can easily plot an accurate pie chart. So here if you see the simplex is 50%. So if I take this as the center of the circle, so this is your 50% any portion, and rest too if you want to have 25% can be divided as like this. So if I am saying this is your 50% which is representing as simplex apartment, this is your 25% which is representing as duplex, and this is your another 25% which is representing triplex. And if you take the sum 50 plus 25 plus 25, it will give you 100%, right? So this is how you have to represent the given percentage of anything on a pie chart, which is a complete circle of 360 degrees. Next we have histogram. That's very important from grade 8 point of view. Histogram is basically almost same as bar graph, but it shows data in intervals. It shows data in intervals. You see here it is 10 is to 20, 20 is to 30, 30 is to 40, 40 is to 50. So it shows data in interval. There is a range, right? So I am saying that there are students in the class, and out of that there are 10 students who got marks between 10 to 20. Then there are 15 students who got marks between 20 to 30. 18 students got 30 to 40, and there are 20 students who got 42 between 40 to 50. Now if I take a range, suppose 20 to 20, 10 to 20, this is called as the lower limit, and this is called as the upper limit of the range, right? And how do we find range? Upper limit minus lower limit. So the range will be 20 minus 10, which gives you 10. Now why we are saying, if you see, the upper limit of one interval is same as the lower limit of the next interval. Now here the upper limit is 30, which is same as the lower limit of the next interval, which is 30. So upper limit of one interval is exactly same as the lower limit of the next interval. So how can we see it? See, this is same, and this is again same. So in such cases, when there is no gap between the intervals, we are going to get a consecutive bar graph, which is called as histogram. So if you see 10 to 20, 10 students. So it means this is my range from 10 to 20. And there are 10 students who got marks between these range. So I can make it like this. Now there are 15 students between 20 to 30. So this is my 20, this is my 30. So it means next graph should be like this. Then 30 to 40, there are 18 students which will be below 20 and like this. And 40 to 50, there are 20 students which will be exactly here. So now we can see that there is no gap between the bars. There is no gap between the bars, and when there is no gap between the bars, it forms a consecutive graph here, which is called as histogram. That's the main difference between the bar graph and the histogram. That in bar graph, what we have done, if I show you quickly, bar graph, there was a fixed interval between the bars, right? Fixed in the sense even interval in between two bars. Rather, if you see a histogram, there is no gap between the bars, rather it's a consecutive pattern. Okay. So why there is no gap? Because there is no gap between the intervals. Why there is no gap? Because there is no gap between the intervals. That's very important to understand. As I told you, this is same. So there is no gap between the intervals. That is how we get a continuous pattern. That's the difference between histogram and bar graph. Now if you see the scales here, x-axis I have taken 1 unit box is representing how much? 10 marks, and y-axis 1 unit box is representing how many students? It is representing 5 students. So I have written the scale for both the axes here. Origin O is mentioned, axis x and y, both axes are mentioned here. So this is your histogram. Now the next type of graph is line graph. So line graph is used when data changes continuously with time, right? So I have taken one example here. If you see the temperature, so 1 p.m. the temperature is 90 degrees Celsius, then 2 p.m. the temperature is 95 degrees Celsius, 3 p.m. it is 98, 4 p.m. 100, and 5 p.m. 102 degrees Celsius. So with the time, the temperature is also changing. It's rather increasing, right? So when the data is changing continuously with the time, we plot line graph. So if you see 1 p.m. it is 90 degrees Celsius. Again the kink concept I have already explained you. So I have again plot a kink here because I have suppressed the values from 0 to 90. Otherwise there is a gap of 5 degrees Celsius in between. So the first 1 p.m. is 90 degrees Celsius, so I will plot a dot here. Then 2 p.m. it is 95, so I can write it here. 3 p.m. it is 98, somewhere here. 4 p.m. it is exactly 100 degrees Celsius, so here. Then 5 p.m. it is again increasing as 102 degrees Celsius. So if I want to plot a line here, right? So these are basically the collinear points. In the line graph, all the points should lie on the same. This is a rough figure, so not exactly matching, but in a line graph, all the points are collinear. They lie on the same line. So there is a proportional relation should be, like if I say, if I will show you once. Okay, so if I say you that the cost of 1 kg apple is 100 rupees, then the 2 kg apple it is 200 rupees, and the cost of 3 kg apple it is 300 rupees. So there is a proportionate relationship. As we are increasing the quantity, the amount is increasing in the same way. So it's a case of direct variation, right? So for such cases, we always get the line graph. How? If I take, this is x-axis, and let's do a rough figure, this is y-axis and origin. If I take 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg, this is my weight in kgs, and here if I take money, 100 rupees, 200 rupees and 300 rupees, here I am taking money in rupees. So for 1 kg it is 100 rupees, for 2 kg it is going to be 200, and for 3 kg it is 300. So if you join them, it will come out a straight line. So for such cases, we always get the line graph. Now there is another kind of graph which is your linear graph. This is your line graph and linear graph. There is a very minor difference between the line and linear graph. Both the graphs we use line segments to plot, right? As we have seen in the previous slide, that for the line graph we always use a line segment. Similarly, for the linear graph also we make use of the line segment. But what happens, suppose the values are like this and then it is decreasing, then suppose again it is increasing, going up, but in line graph the pattern will always be a straight line. So what will be a straight line means all the values will lie on one single line. It means collinear points. Rather, if you see here, this is your first reading, second reading, third reading, fourth reading and five reading here. So all the points are not collinear. They are on the Cartesian plane, but they are not collinear. Rather, it is also made up of line segment, but all the points are not collinear. That's a very minor difference between the line graph and linear graph, that a line graph, all the points are collinear. They lie on the line, and for the linear graph, it is made up of line segments, but all the points are not necessarily to be collinear. So this is how we have studied all type of graphs. Next topic will be the coordinates and the relation between variables, which I will be explaining you in my next introductory video. Till then, practice all the graphs and watch my next video for rest of the part. Till then, bye bye, take care.